It was meant to be unsinkable. A floating palace of steel and luxury built to conquer the Atlantic and redefine human engineering. On the night of April 14, 1912, the RMS Titanic cut through the dark, icy waters of the North Atlantic, carrying over 2,000 souls toward a promised future. None of them knew they were sailing straight into history's most famous disaster. Somewhere deep within the ship, an unnamed crew member walked along a narrow corridor below deck. He had spent the evening performing routine checks, listening to the steady heartbeat of the engines, feeling the gentle vibration of progress beneath his boots. Above him, first-class passengers laughed beneath crystal chandeliers, music drifting through polished halls. Below, in third class, families slept tightly packed, dreaming of new lives in America. The ocean was calm. Too calm. The sky was clear, the stars sharp and endless, reflected perfectly on the black surface of the sea. It was this eerie stillness that made the iceberg almost invisible until it was too late. At 11:40 p.m., the ship shuddered. It was not a dramatic explosion, not a violent crash, just a long, grinding scrape along the starboard side. Many passengers barely noticed. Some felt a vibration. Others paused mid-conversation. The crew member stopped in his tracks. He had felt ships before. This was different. This felt wrong. Within minutes, the truth began to surface. Water was pouring into the lower compartments, not flooding, invading. Steel bulkheads that were supposed to protect the ship were slowly being defeated by simple, unstoppable physics. The crew member joined others racing through corridors now slick with freezing seawater, desperately closing doors, sealing sections, hoping to contain the damage. Above deck, officers reassured passengers, nothing to worry about, just a precaution. Lifeboats were uncovered, but few believed they would be needed. The Titanic was unsinkable. Everyone knew that. Confidence was the ship's greatest flaw. As minutes turned into an hour, the bow of the ship began to dip. The angle was subtle at first, almost unnoticeable, but below deck the change was terrifying. Water climbed staircases, lights flickered. The crew member helped guide confused passengers upward, their faces pale, eyes wide with fear they were only just beginning to understand. Panic crept in quietly. Lifeboats were being lowered, half empty, not enough for everyone. The arithmetic of survival became cruel and unavoidable. Women and children first. Third-class passengers struggled to find their way through locked gates and confusing passageways. The ship's design, once a symbol of luxury, became a maze of death. By 1:30 a.m., the tilt was impossible to ignore. Plates slid across tables, chairs toppled. Music played on, brave, tragic, almost surreal. The crew members stood near the rail, watching lifeboats disappear into the darkness below. Each one carried away hope and guilt. The cold was merciless. Breath formed clouds in the air. The ocean waited patiently. At 2 a.m., chaos ruled. The bow was submerged. The stern rose into the sky, exposing massive propellers that had once driven the ship forward with pride. Screams filled the night, some from fear, some from disbelief, some from the raw instinct to survive. The crew member clung to the rail as the deck angled sharply beneath his feet. Around him, people prayed, shouted, cried, or stood frozen in silence. The ship groaned, metal screaming under unbearable stress. And then, the impossible happened. The Titanic broke. With a thunderous roar, the ship split apart. The bow vanished into the abyss. The stern hovered for a moment, one final breath before following. At 2:20 a.m., the ocean swallowed the Titanic whole. What followed was worse. Hundreds of people were left in the freezing water. The cold stole breath within seconds, strength within minutes. Lifeboats drifted nearby, some unable or unwilling to return. The crew member never made it to one. His story ended there, in the dark Atlantic, among countless others whose names history would never record. By dawn, silence returned. Debris floated across calm waters, lifeboats scattered like broken memories. Over 1,500 lives were gone. The Titanic became more than a shipwreck. It became a warning, a symbol of human ambition, overconfidence, and the cost of believing technology could conquer nature. Investigations would follow, laws would change, safety would improve, but none of it could undo that night. The ocean kept its secrets, and the story of the Titanic lived on, not as a tale of luxury, but as a reminder that even the greatest creations can fall, quietly, tragically, and forever.